Hi everyone, and good morning to all of you. This is Matthias Chang once again from Future Fast Forward. How time flies. As I said many times and repeatedly, the darkest hour is just before dawn, and dawn is soon appearing, and truth will emerge in all its glory to shine out and put out the darkness and evil that's prevailed and clouded our country for such a long time. Let me say to you who still have doubts, frustration, and clouded by air of defeat because they perceived that Najib and his cabal and regime of UMNO hacks are so powerful. Let me say that in fact and in reality, UMNO is on the retreat. Absolutely on the retreat. And I say this because, just recall, it used to be their arrogance, their so-called confidence that 1MDB is nonsense, sensationalism, and what have you. That there was no crimes committed, that 1MDB is a non-issue. Then what happened? There was expose by 7 countries conducting investigations into the corruption, the crime, the money laundering, the racketeering, the fraud, and what have you. And evidence came out in the open. Detailed evidence. And people were fingered and pointed out. But there was denial and denial because these honchos, these so-called experts say they were not named and therefore they are innocent. They buried their head in the sand and show their ass, their ugly ass to the world and make a fool themselves. But finally, surely but slowly, they realize that they can't hide the truth. Then, you recall, Rahman Dahlan had no choice. The first to admit and to retreat from the entrenched, embedded position that no one is guilty. He then said, only an idiot would not know that MO1, Malaysian Official 1, is a Prime Minister. More so, and notwithstanding that, another idiot, Bang Mokhtar, a member of the Supreme Council of UMNO, a member of Parliament, said, I don't know who's MO1. Supreme Council never discussed MO1 and pretend by so denying people will be hoodwinked. But Rahman Dahlan has conceded MO1 is a Prime Minister. Alright? Then, the other day, a further concession by the propaganda chief of UMNO, Anwar Musa. This is what he said. You remember? He said that DOJ suit issue is just one branch on UMNO's tree. We are looking at UMNO as one tree. Why should we discuss about one branch of fruit? We are concerned if the tree, UMNO, is dying, said Anwar Musa during a press conference at UMNO headquarters in PWTC in Kuala Lumpur a few days ago. So he has considered that a branch of the tree is rotten. Okay? But the tree is okay. Let's pause here for a while and see whether that statement or that analogy is correct. But there is a concession. First, it said the whole tree is growing, is doing very well, bearing fruits. Now it says one branch or fruit is rotten, but the tree is just surviving. What a stupid analogy. But let's for a moment take that analogy as it is. Alright? So he associated, right, the DOJ suit, the expose, the detailed expose as a branch. It must be a very big branch. Okay? But now, as God has always told us, He works in mysterious ways. Have faith in Him. Just on the 6th of October, the Attorney General of Switzerland, not DOJ of US, so there is one branch. Now, the AG, okay, of Switzerland, because the AG of USA has filed a complaint, has exposed the rottenness, the fraud, the crime, the criminality of the cabal and Najib. But now, the AG of Switzerland, which has last year already pronounced the criminality of 1MDB, went one step further. And this is what was reported in the Business Times. Okay? Read carefully. International Business Times, 6 October 2016. 1MDB involved in Ponzi scheme, Swiss prosecutor says. Malaysian state-run fund, one Malaysian Development Berhad, was involved in a Ponzi scheme, a Swiss prosecutor said Wednesday, 2 days ago. Switzerland has also widened its investigation into 1MDB's alleged corruption scandal. You got it? I'm going to pause 5 seconds so that all of you can copy this statement, make photocopies, and give to all your friends, relatives, and circulate as much as possible. Alright? Let me count slowly, right? So you can take your time to write it down. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay? Then, the Swiss Attorney General went on to say, remarkable. Let me read slowly to you. The Swiss Attorney General's office had identified, read those words, slant, bold, underline, further suspect transactions involving the Swiss financial sector. They're getting very mad. You know why? Because the criminality of 1MDB has now affected their financial sector. Switzerland's country's state economy, reputation. They are hopping mad, and they will be like a hound dog that once bites someone will not let go. Firstly, went on to say, exact words, the sum of 800 million appears to have been misappropriated from investment in natural resources made by SRC Sovereign Fund, a Malaysian company. Let's pause here. Which was at one time a subsidiary of 1MDB. Okay? A big chunk of money in the billions was stolen. So, you went on to say, secondly, it is suspected that a Ponzi scheme fraud, i.e. paying the returns on initial investments from funds obtained from subsequent investors rather than from legitimate revenue from the investments, was committed to conceal the misappropriation from both the SRC fund and from 1MDB. I'm going to pause here again, my fellow Malaysians, so that you can write down word for word if you don't have this report. And I'll count 10 again to give you the time to record it when you're watching this video address. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Now, you will recall that I think it's on the 29th of September when Najib was in Berlin trying to impress the world that he's still a leader, visiting Angela Merkel, he made a statement, right? And I think you recall that he and the government of Malaysia will extend the fullest cooperation to authorities investigating this horrid criminal offense. Okay? He made that promise as he made before. Okay? Way before DOJ complaint was filed, he has been saying this. Alright? When the first time the Attorney General of Switzerland came out with his press statement, again, the Prime Minister then made a promise for cooperation. And more importantly, at a conference in Zurich, Switzerland, the AG of Switzerland met the current AG of Malaysia, Taj Apandi, and requested mutual legal assistance. This AG, Taj Apandi, declared publicly that he will extend cooperation to the AG of Switzerland. And this was echoed by the Prime Minister a few days later. So there have been repeated assurances of cooperation and to give mutual legal assistance. The MACC, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, has demanded from the Attorney General to grant mutual legal assistance, so to have access to overseas accounts and complete investigation. No response. Contradiction, lies, and backtracking. So, once again, to remind all of you, this was a statement made by the Prime Minister on the 26th of September in Berlin, Germany. This is what he said. We are equally concerned about good governance in Malaysia and the rule of law. Najib told reporters after meeting with German Chancellor Angela Merkel when asked about the international investigations. And he went on to say, so within the bounds of good governance and the rule of law, Malaysia will do its best to cooperate and do whatever is necessary. Again, I will hold it for 10 seconds so you have time to take it down and show to all your friends and use it as propaganda tool to counter their false propaganda. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So, when the Swiss Attorney General released the bombshell that the SRC fund, once the subsidiary of 1MDB, was a Ponzi scheme, the Attorney General of Switzerland went on to say that they have requested again since January of this year for MLA, mutual legal assistance. None was forthcoming. And I would like to show to you what was stated in the statement by the Swiss Attorney General. Okay? And he went on to say, more importantly, that since SRC borrowed money from KWAP, a pension fund, anyone who's aggrieved, who's a pensioner aggrieved by that criminality, can come forward to Switzerland, okay, to claim their losses. You will recall, my fellow Malaysians, Dr. Karudin Abu Hassan, my client, and I went to Switzerland. My client delivered in a sealed envelope and received under tight security documents evidencing the crime. Because there was a statement. Then, whoever has evidence, come forward and provide them to the Attorney General. A common practice in any crime investigation, just as in Malaysia, whenever there's a crime, the police issue an alert, an appeal for help, that any witnesses who are witnesses to a crime come forward to assist the police in the investigation. As an example of the brutal murder of the former DPP Matthias. Okay? There was an appeal to come forward. My client came forward with my assistance and advice, went to Switzerland to deliver the evidence. Guess what? We were hounded, arrested, charged. My client first, and then me later, for sabotaging the reputation, integrity of the banking and financial institutions of Malaysia. Locked up in Sungai Buloh prison. But we are now out temporarily because the High Court judge ruled in our favor. But there's now pending an appeal in the Court of Appeal by the appeal of the Attorney General. If what we are doing is wrong, it's a crime, why would the Attorney General of Switzerland making another appeal to Malaysians to come forward? And these are the actual words, okay? In the crucial line of today's public release, Switzerland requests the Malaysian authorities to provide details of presumed companies, persons suffering harm. Malaysian authorities could be anything from the government, the Attorney General, MACC, KWAP, Bank Negara, the police. Okay? From these monster thefts, so they can exert their rights in Swiss criminal proceedings. The office, the OAG, the Office of the Attorney General, has also requested assistance from the Malaysian authorities so that presumed companies, persons suffering harm can exert their rights in Swiss criminal proceedings. Quote unquote. You got it? You scumbag criminals, you scumbag criminal cabal and regime. Malaysians can go forward to Switzerland to assert their rights as requested by the Office of the Attorney General. I will count again 10 seconds for you to copy the words in quotation and underline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now, what's important is all the pensioners who receive pension from the KWAP, whose money was lent to SRC. This money is now part of Ponzi scheme, is part of a fraud, money laundering. You are now invited to exert your rights, and I hope civil servants will come forward to do their duty for the country. And let's see whether this criminal cabal would dare arrest the hundreds of people, thousands of people, pensioners, whose pension is put in jeopardy, whether they dare arrest them, as they arrested me, charged me, and imprisoned me for SOSMA and under the penal code. for sabotage. Shame, shame, shame. God has worked in mysterious ways, as I've said repeatedly to all of you. Things are unraveling very fast, like I said. Dawn is coming. And then, adding insult to injury, to hypocrisy, the cowardice, the cover-up of the regime, the AG made this following statement. Okay? And let's see what the regime has to say and what the Attorney General has to say. The Swiss agent confirms that he has already asked for this information. Okay? SRC funds, which MLA. But no response had been forthcoming from Malaysian authorities. The statement therefore indicates a now open invitation from the Swiss to Malaysian individuals who believe themselves adversely affected from the thefts to apply directly to the courts in Bern for recompense. Just as we have filed action in US, they're asking Malaysians to file action in Switzerland courts in Bern for recompense, means for compensation. Alright? And then, contrary to what is happening in Malaysia, the Swiss Attorney General went on to say that as opposed to Malaysia, they sought assistance and requested MLA from Singapore, and Singapore extended fully cooperation assistance. Oh, but Malaysia denied assistance. And yet the scumbags UMNO, if they say there's no problem, there's no criminality, why don't they extend assistance? Why not? Why pretend and just say a branch? Now what? 2 branches? Because Anwar Musa says DOJ is 1 branch. Now, Swiss AG must be another branch. Now, can you imagine? All right, the tree had 2 branches, 2 huge branches. Both are corrupted or rotting. And to think that the main trunk will not be rotten, let me say to you, to those UMNO scumbags, it's not the branch that's rotten. The whole tree, the roots, everything is rotten to the very core. You know why? Because the entire leadership is rotten, is sick, disease infected. And this infection has spread even beyond the UMNO tree. It's gone into the other trees, the MCA tree, the Gerakan tree, the MIC tree. So, let me say to all of you, Malaysians, Saudara and Saudari, be positive, have faith. We are moving forward, assuredly to victory. As I said earlier, UMNO is now retreating. Alright? More will come. First DOJ, USA, AG now Switzerland. Alright? Singapore is going to have a trial soon, expose. The trial is coming soon. There's Luxembourg, there's Hong Kong. Wait. If they think by dragging this case long enough, nothing will mature, nothing will unravel, and in time people will forget, let me say to Najib, to UMNO, to MKD leaders, more will come out. And the whole load of shit, their shit, will be poured over them, and it will sink and drown in the quagmire of shit, their own shit. So let me just say this to you, okay? Whenever you see a UMNO leader, an MCA leader, MIC leader, or the Ghana leader, alright, just ask them, where do they stand? Okay? Why I'm doing this, right? You will notice in all my address, I'm giving you this kind of paper. Okay? A paper with all these words. This will help you to focus on the slogan. We, the people, represent honesty as opposed to their lies and more lies. Okay? These are your propaganda materials. Because many times you've asked me, how do we go about doing political work as an activist? Go and watch all my videos again, download and copy each and every of my statements which are displayed like this before and now again, okay? Honesty versus lies and more lies. Okay? The next one, truthfulness, trustworthiness versus hypocrisy, which I addressed earlier to you, that for a Muslim, truthfulness and trustworthiness is a commandment to be followed seriously. And there were 4 criteria of hypocrisy. If anyone commits one of the acts of hypocrisy, for example, telling lies, and does not rectify that lie with truth, under the Quranic injunction and under the direction of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, that person cannot call himself a Muslim. So we demand truthfulness and trustworthiness. They give us, the UMNO scumbags, hypocrisy and lies, breach of trust. Okay? I count again 5 seconds. Capture this slogan: truthfulness, trustworthiness versus hypocrisy. Then, just recently, I must thank the former Chief Justice of our courts. He gave a statement, all right, and this was reported in Free Malaysia Today by one V. Ambalangan, okay? And it was headlined as such: ex-Chief Justice pass outwits UMNO on hudud, as reported in Free Malaysia Today. He noted that past leaders were saying that the purpose of the proposed amendment to Act 355 was only to increase the jurisdiction of the Sharia courts, and that he had nothing to do with the hudud agenda. The Chief Justice says, all right, focus on the words that's underlined. Such statements were made to confuse those who do not agree with the implementation of hudud and to make it easier for UMNO to give its support. Bear that in mind, the underlying words. These are the observations of the former Chief Justice. Okay? He went on to say, they are not stupid. Indeed, on the hudud issue, politically, PAS appears to be smarter than UMNO. I believe that UMNO leaders who do not understand the full effect of the amendment repeat what PAS leaders are saying because they do not want the party to be seen as opposing hudud. The Chief Justice then note the Act 355 is a federal law, and they said it would be incorrect to say that the amendment would affect only the state of Kelantan. And because it's a federal law, the whole country will be affected. Now, what's important, my fellow Malaysian, is this expose that UMNO has misled their own members, all right, because they don't have the guts or the intelligence to oppose what PAS is proposing. And like I said before in all my previous address, and as confessed by the Wanita Chief of MCA, Datuk Hang Seng Kee, the UMNO asked her, this China Kwai, who knows nothing about Sharia law, to oppose the Sharia law because UMNO don't have the guts. She said it. And when I whacked her and exposed her, she then asked the Hokkien Association to belt the cat. You see, create a racial, religious divide between Muslim and non-Muslims, preying on the ignorance of the non-Muslim as well as the Chinese, so that to arouse the anger of the Malays Muslims against the Chinese. When all along, this was an orchestrated show caused by UMNO and now exposed by the Chief Justice is because they're not as smart as the past and don't have the guts to oppose hoodoo. They don't know what to do. They're echoing past propaganda. That's what the Chief Justice said. That's not what I say. This is what the Chief Justice said. So I'm going to put this again, this statement, right? And I'm going to count 10 seconds for you to copy it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now page 2, 10 seconds again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Given this situation, what can we conclude? How do we conclude this address, this expose? The first by the Attorney General of Switzerland and now by the former Chief Justice of Malaysia. And both are lawyers, legally trained, intelligent, experienced. They came up with all these statements, not me. I give you the evidence. Where can they hide now? I don't know. Where can Najib hide now? Okay? So, may I suggest to you that what we should do now in our battle to counter the propaganda is, besides those earlier slogans and statements which I have shown to you to copy, may I now ask you further to bear in mind what are we fighting for? What is our cause? We are fighting for principles, justice, truth, trust, truthfulness, trustworthiness. We are fighting for principles. We demand straight talk. Okay? No fork tongue. No cheap compromises. No flip-flops and sleaze, which are being perpetrated by the scumbag leaders of UMNO, MC, Gerakan, and MIC. Defeat them in the coming election. Okay? Use this tagline. And what do we want in return? For the future, we want leaders with integrity, honest leaders who uphold the teachings as provided for in their respective scriptures. To the Muslims, the Quran; Christians, the Bible; Buddhists, the Dhammapada; Hindus, the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, as opposed to the hollow, empty, spineless leaders that's now so pervasive in Malaysia and is personified in the Barisan Nasional. Okay? This is what we want. Cry it out in full voice. This is a clarion call we demand for our country. Okay? So I hope in this short address, you need not be lost for words or content as to what to say, how to counter the propaganda of the regime. There's so much information content. Just take your time, please. Watch the video. Alright? It takes hours and hours of research to crystallize what I have researched into half an hour or more. In order for you to cut and paste, to select those materials which you are comfortable to use and find it easy to translate to Bahasa Melayu, to Tamil, to Mandarin, or whatever. Okay? In conclusion, let me say this to all of you. Najib has brought shame and humiliation to the entire Bumi-Putra community and the Muslim Ummah in Malaysia. We must get rid of this evil and restore the self-respect, the self-esteem of this great Malay community. You will notice I use the word we, including myself, even though I'm not a Muslim or a Malay. I say we because we are a family. Malaysia is a national family comprising of various races, culture, and religion. If one community is shamed and humiliated, we too are shamed and humiliated. If one community is hurt, attacked, so are we hurt and attacked. Therefore, although Najib and UMNO says they are leaders for the country, in actual fact, they are not leaders for anyone but for themselves. They have betrayed their own community as well as the country. So it's not a community issue. But right now, I'm suggesting that the community that suffered most from this hollow, empty leadership, this criminal cabal, are the Malay community. But we, the non-Malay, the non-Muslims, cannot stand by and watch their suffering. They are our brothers, our sisters. When they suffer, we too will suffer. If their economy collapse, our country economy collapse, we too will suffer. So this is not a sectarian, a communal issue. It's a national issue. We stand together. Because divided we fall and we will be defeated. We must always maintain unity, discipline, and absolute faith in the justice of our cause, in the righteousness of our cause. And once again, may I appeal to all of you. And I think in my 36th previous address, God has shown, Allah has shown that He's with us. Surrender to His will completely, please. Have absolute faith that He will protect us, defend us, and guide us under all circumstances in the face of all enemies and adversities. Let me assure you, as dawn will break out every day, so God working in mysterious ways, Allah working in mysterious ways, will protect us and give us the reward that we are entitled to because we are the righteous, fighting against injustice, lies, hypocrisy, crimes, and moral decadence of our country. With that, I thank you for your attendance, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend and will be inspired by the latest development and march forward with head high and fight under one national motto, the Rukun Negara, and follow and defend one flag, our Malaysian flag, the Jalur Gemilang. With that, thank you and God bless.